Welcome back, tricksters, to another top 5 with tricks. Today we're getting ourselves lost and chasing down side quests in the top 5 for open world games. I'm a procrastinator myself and rarely doing what I'm supposed to be doing, so traipsing around an open world, forgetting what my main quest actually is, right up my alley. Don't forget to let me know if you think any of these games shouldn't be on the list, and as usual, we're not going to talk about liking the video to help out the channel or subbing to get those notifications for live streams and videos. Yeah, we don't do that here. Elden Ring was released in February of 2022 by From Software. Their goal was to develop an open world game, but using the style and difficulty setting of their other games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne. The world building for this title was done by George R.R. Martin, mostly known for Game of Thrones. This makes for an in-depth story that pulls the player in, but yet leaves a lot of questions unanswered, and many things up to the player's interpretation. This open world game is very harsh and very unforgiving. Each fight feels like an epic battle, and death can come quickly and without notice. The in-game currency for leveling and upgrading is runes, and if you die, you drop all the runes you've got unused. If you do not retrieve the runes and die a second time, all those runes are lost. Large punishment for dying drives the intensity for this game to new limits, not really seen in an open world environment before. The game has received multiple awards and nominations for awards since release. Elden Ring has stayed in the limelight mainly thanks to consistent exposure from live streamers and YouTubers using the harsh environment to create entertaining content for their viewers. Optional multiplayer aspects of the game really open up different experiences that would not be possible on a straight independent playthrough. You can invite a friend for co-op and also invite some PvP action. Each of these options must be agreed on by both parties in game, so there will be no surprise attacks on you during your solo plays. The game will still run you about $80, and if you enjoy intensity with a little bit of frustration thrown in, then Elden Ring will be the one for you. The long-awaited Red Dead Redemption 2 was released in 2018 and developed by Rockstar Games. This was arguably one of the most anticipated releases due to the popularity of the game's predecessor. The game was in development for 8 years, and players had hoped that the time spent in development would result in a great game, and they were not disappointed. The game plays as a prequel to Red Dead Redemption, delving into the backstory of what led to the events that happened in the previous title. The game is set in a vast open world, an imagined old western setting. The core story of the game drives the player onwards throughout play, but the side quests and random events during the traversing of the world make it feel like it's alive. Many of the actions and decisions you make will directly influence your rewards and choices that are available to you throughout your playthrough using an honor system. Combat is as you would expect from a western shooter. Many guns and styles of approach are available for your playstyle, but caution is needed, as if there are any witnesses to your illegal shenanigans, you'll find a posse after you and perhaps even a bounty on your head. There are a few multiplayer options available for the game, and has a thriving online community that keeps the game very active and prominent in many gaming libraries. The game will run you about $80, but watch out for those sales, as it's been known to drop in price from time to time and well worth picking up. Marvel's Spider-Man was released by Insomniac Games in 2018 and met with an amazing response from both players and critics. Insomniac chose to run with an original story written for the game, but also included many elements from the comics and surrounding media to bring that familiarity into play. Movement and combat mechanics are what set this game apart from many of its predecessors. The web swinging, which has been attempted many times before, is executed excellently. It's fluid and feels very natural, which is a core component of the game. The combat is designed in a way that multiple enemies can be fought at the same time, really giving you that feeling of how powerful Spider-Man really is. Melee, webs, and gadgets are all available for you to make use of to fit your playstyle. The open world of the game did receive some criticism of not being very original and not very standout, but the layout does blend well with the style of movement and positioning of the missions that need to be completed. Tokens that you receive are used for upgrades and advancing your character, which gives players that drive to go off the beaten path and get some extra tasks done. Just another reason to help out the people of New York. The game has received many updates and releases of the expansion Miles Morales re-energized the game. Many people think the Miles Morales game was even better than Spider-Man. As far as open world games go, you'll be doing yourself a disservice if you're a superhero fan and don't try this game out. It will cost you about $50, but it will be worth every penny. Horizon Zero Dawn hit the market in 2017 on PlayStation and then on PC in 2020. It was developed by Guerrilla Games and published by Sony Interactive. Shortly after release, Horizon grew in popularity as the reviews rolled in with positive reactions across the board. The open world environment provides a unique blend of nature and machine. The world that you traverse has different types of landscapes and weather, but gives you that very strong feeling of living in a world that has felt major destruction and change. Movement around the world is helped with the use of zip lines, mounts, and campfires which act as fast travel that are scattered throughout the map. The combat style of the game is very unique, and there are multiple ranged weapons available to use which are very different in their approach. The story is intriguing, and as you unlock answers, you inevitably find more questions. This keeps you wanting to keep finding the next clue instead of turning off the game to find out what happened to this world. There's no multiplayer options available for this game, so once you play through, there isn't much of a pool to do a playthrough again. That being said, the expansions and DLC that have been released for the game are well worth getting to prolong your wanting to stay in this amazing open world game. You can get the complete edition with all the DLC for about $60. The Witcher 3 was released back in 2015 by CD Projekt Red as a follow-up to its previously successful game, The Witcher 2. The game was greatly anticipated and met with rave reviews when it was released. The game broke records for most consecutive players on Steam and holds one of the highest ratings of positive feedback for a game of its genre. The game's story follows Geralt of Rivia as he traverses through a large open world, helping locals and slaying monsters along the way. The map is quite large and is constructed in a way that you do not have to explore it all for the sake of the main story, but there are so many side quests and points of interest that you'll find yourself getting sidetracked and exploring the land without even realizing it. The main mode of transport is on your horse, Roach, and also fast travel between signposts throughout the world. A handy feature for traveling is when you're on your horse, if you hold sprint for your horse, the horse will do an auto ride along the road that you're on, turning when the road turns. This means you can travel to many areas without paying full attention to what's going on, but yet you will be sure not to miss anything you might have if you were fast traveling. The combat is varied and very interesting due to the options available to your character. A mixture of range, swords, and using magic means you can engage in combat whatever way you want. Most recently, the game got re-released for next-gen consoles, and with that, the PC version got the benefit of those changes, giving a resurge of interest to the game. The game has had some of the best DLC available for any game and well worth picking up if you have the base version of the game. The base game will run you about $50, but due to its age, it does go on sale on Steam from time to time, so keep your eyes open. This is an open world game that anyone that calls himself a true gamer should have experienced. There you have it. Trix's top 5 for open world adventures. I gotta say, watching some of my fellow YouTubers play Elden Ring has been both painful and entertaining. Rip, my friend, rip. I'm interested to hear what you think. If there's some other games out there that should have been on the list, you can of course comment down below. Or you could pop in our live stream here on YouTube and give me your thoughts there as well. I promise to pretend to care about your opinions. You have my word on that. If you haven't checked out our top 5 extraction-based games yet, now's the time. Until next time, stay classy, tricksters.